everybody. I'm knee deep in cookies for my cookie boxes. I do cookie boxes for my friends and my work family every single year. And by every single year, I mean I've done it the last 2 years, but that's still a streak I'm holding on to. I am doing 2 new cookies for my cookie boxes this year, and I thought that I would share them with you all while I was making them and give you all the recipe just in case you guys wanted something new for your cookie boxes this year, for your cookie holiday baking this year. Both of them are cookies I've made before, but with slight variations. The first one is going to be a caramelized ginger cookie, and the second one is going to be a winter morning biscotti. I really wanted the flavors of a really good gingerbread cookie, but in the form of a chocolate chip cookie. So that was kind of what I did with this. And when I was thinking about the chocolate that I wanted to put in it, the first obvious choice was going to be white chocolate, but I don't really like white chocolate all that much. I don't think that's a secret. I feel like I've said that multiple times. I do like caramelized white chocolate. And if you've never had caramelized white chocolate, it's sometimes referred to as blonde white chocolate. You can make it yourself, and I have made it myself to great success. You take your white chocolate and you put it in the oven at a very low temperature, cook it and stir it for kind of a long time, just until the fat and the milk solids in the white chocolate take on this really nice deep golden tan color. Or you can buy it. Brands like Calbo and Valrhona, it's kind of expensive chocolate, but they do make their own blonde white chocolates. Also, this is what I did. I found blonde white chocolate at Kroger of all places. If you have a Kroger near you or any kind of grocery store, they might have this. I don't know. This is not bad, especially for like grocery store chocolate. This is pretty good. So that's what I used. And basically it's the same principle as brown butter, and we all know how I feel about brown butter. You're taking the fat and you're adding another layer of depth of like this like nutty caramelly flavor that I think goes really, really well with the gingerbread-y flavor. But if you don't want to use caramelized white chocolate, or if you can't find it or access it or whatever, regular white chocolate would be very, very good in these cookies. It would just be an equal swap. I've already made the ginger cookie dough. It needs to refrigerate for kind of a bit before you bake it off, ideally overnight. However, I did not plan accordingly. It's in the fridge right now, and it's probably only gonna get about 4 hours, which is fine. I think you would want to refrigerate it for at least 3 hours, but ideally overnight. And that is mostly just to give the flour a chance to fully hydrate. It's also a chance to let the butter solidify. So we're using dark brown sugar in this recipe and adding molasses. And doing both of those things is gonna give you a really, really nice chew. It's also going to make your cookies spread a little bit more. Baking a cookie from cold is always gonna control the spread a little bit, which I wanted to do here. So the second cookie is a winter morning biscotti, and basically I was asking my friends what I should do for the last cookie in the box, and one of my friends said that she would like something to have with her like morning coffee or her morning tea, like a biscotti. I do feel comfortable. Oh my god, Gus. Dude! Guster keeps dropping his toy off the bed, and he has to go past my camera to get it because he refuses to go the easy way. So the biscotti recipe is based off of an old family recipe that I am comfortable sharing because I have tweaked it, but it is an oil-based biscotti rather than a butter-based biscotti, which helps with the texture of it. In my opinion, it's not as dry. I have made this biscotti recipe before, but I have not added these components to it. I'm adding orange zest, rosemary, and cranberry. And I just think those are really great quintessential winter flavors that all go together very, very well. So while the ginger dough is chilling, we're gonna go ahead and make the biscotti. definitely should have chopped this rosemary finer, but we're here now. Do you see how the sugar kind of looks like dry snow now? That means that all of the oils from the orange have been released. You can use olive oil for this, and I actually think it would taste good, but since I'm using so many other different flavors, I just went with regular vegetable oil. Now, I know this doesn't really look like something that would hold its shape well in baking. It looks very soft. But if we add too much flour to this, it will become that really dry biscotti that everyone knows and hates. I'm gonna put this on my baking sheet and form it into a log. It should relatively stay where it's supposed to be. I use a bench scraper or a bowl scraper sometimes to help me with the edges. It will relax and it will kind of like spread. Typically I would do like a 3x9 rectangle, but I want more of them and I want them to be smaller. As long as it's about 3/4 of an inch thick, you can kind of do whatever size you want. That's up to you. So I'm gonna do that now. I did use this parchment paper for cookies. What about it? This is a recycling household. Okay, so I'm at about a 15x2 inch rectangle. I'm not gonna lie to you, it took some finagling to get it to be this way. But once you get the hang of it, it is pretty easy to move. Like it's not even sticking to my finger really anymore. And if you're having a hard time, you can always just like wet your hands and move it, and then it won't stick to your hands. My hands are dry now, but it will help if you're having a hard time. So I'm gonna get this into the oven and bring it back when it's time to slice it. Here's my tray of biscotti. Fun fact, if you like the idea of biscotti, but you don't like the texture or how dry they are, you actually don't have to bake it a second time. You can slice them and then just have them like this. It's called unscotti, which obviously just means once baked. And they just have like a really nice soft texture to them, kind of like a really soft shortbread. If you want something to dip into your coffee and stuff like that, definitely do the twice baked, because that's what's going to soak up all of the coffee and the tea, and it's going to be a really nice afternoon snack. But if you want something softer, if you don't like that dry texture, try just baking it once and see if you like it better. But I'm going to toss these back in the oven and dry them out. Awkwardly, I have like 2 of them that just fully don't have any cranberries in them. That is my bad. I definitely should have done 1/2 cup of cranberries instead of 1/3 of a cup. But this is where we're at now. So I'm gonna pop these back in the oven for just a little bit to dry them out. And then I'll finally be able to bake off the ginger cookies. He's really fighting himself to stay awake right now. So these have been chilling for about 4 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and pop them into the oven. This part, what I just did, is entirely optional. I just dipped them in a little bit more chopped caramelized white chocolate. I talked about this in the brown butter cookie video, but it's just kind of a visual thing to, 1, get more chocolate in the cookies, which who doesn't want that, but 2, to get the really big pools of chocolate on top and just kind of like an aesthetic just like part of the way the cookie looks. I'm baking these at 375, which is a little bit higher than some cookies would normally be. The idea when you bake them at a higher temperature is that the outside sets faster and they don't spread as much. I'm gonna pop these into a 375 oven for about 12 minutes. The outside edges will be set and then the centers will still be soft. There'll be some carryover cooking as they sit on the pan, but I'm gonna go ahead and bake the first tray of these off. Hi guys, I just wanted to hop on here real quick and do a short little wrap up to this short and sweet little video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I make my cookie boxes every year and I always really enjoy it, so it was kind of fun to be able to bring you guys along for at least part of it. I think my cookie boxes turned out really good this year, if I do say so myself. I'm very proud of how they turned out. I think it's my best box yet. I will have the recipes for both cookies on my website, which I will link down below. Part of the reason why I included these cookies in this box also is because they're not like Christmas or holiday specific. I think they can be enjoyed well into the new year, well into winter. They just really celebrate, I think, classic winter flavors, which I love. Because even though I think I'm gonna be able to post this before Christmas, which is as much of a shock to me as it is to you, I'm sure. Obviously, I am posting these recipes a little late. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like if you did, and leave a comment down below if you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything like that. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see the recipes that I have putting out in the new year. I just finalized the schedule. Schedule being a very loose term. You might want to subscribe, so make sure you don't miss them. Like I said, I think I'm going to be able to upload this today or tomorrow, which is before Christmas, which is kind of insane. That all being said, you guys, I'm so sorry. Guster is literally so big now. In my head, this was going to be a lot smoother. So from my tiny little family to yours, happy holidays, and I will see you guys in the new year. Bye! Enough for you. Go.